Hi, I'm Eric Dewey.
And this is Steve O'Mooney.
And I'm Matthew Renfro.
And we're Socially Awkward. You're listening to another great production on the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Check out more shows at foureyedradio.com.
It's your good pal, Steve-O from the Four-Eyed Radio Network. I'm here to talk to you about a wonderful designer we all know, Revenge Lover. Illustrates and designs that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com. And just do yourself a favor and tell them Steve-O sent you. I know it really doesn't count for anything, but, I mean, come on. Who are you gonna trust? You gonna trust somebody else? No, you're gonna trust me, Steve-O. Because, face it, I'm awesome.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Straight Outta Austin. It's me, Prometheus.
That's Amuro.
This is Ice.
And we're joined by a very special guest.
Desi Robinson, the Hero Geek.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for having us on your show. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you for coming on to mine, and thank you for having me again.
Not a problem. I don't know. I kept wanting to just quote the X-Men cartoon the entire time. I didn't get to my favorite one. It's like, do you know how much that game cost? Yeah, a quarter. So I had to start off with that.
There was one that used to say all the time, and I was like, that's so dumb. But then when I actually saw the episode in context, it was just so hilarious. Where I think it was Gambit that runs into Cable. He's like, "Who are you, mon ami?" And he's like, "The Wild Man of Borneo." I was like, "What does that even mean?" That is so awesome.
Yeah, it was Pyro.
Oh yeah, it was Pyro. Yeah, who are you?
The Wild Man of Borneo. He just shoots him into the river.
Like, what is up with all these Australian references?
Somebody on the staff had to be from Australia.
Probably.
Well, Pyro is Australian, so.
Yeah.
I thought he was Irish.
He's Irish-Australian.
Irish-Australian.
He's from Space Australia.
Team Force.
It's like Australia, but in space.
So anyways, what have you guys been up to? Anything interesting?
I saw a rap duo.
Huh?
One guy's name was MC Lunchbox. The other one's name was Kalachi. And upon seeing them on stage, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm just going to play Street Fighter on the arcade. I promptly lost the first match, so I was like, all right, I'll go see what's going on here. They were actually really entertaining.
Oh, yeah?
Like, one guy just had a song about breakfast, and the chick had a song about, like, being a snitch. But just, like positively, he's like, damn right, I'll snitch on you. I don't know. Like, I can't even do justice to it without actual audio. Like,
I'm sorry. Regardless of how good she is, I can't respect that.
You know, you got to listen to it.
I guess.
Like, it was one of those things where you go in and you're like, I'm not going to like this. And by, like, halfway through the song, I'm like, all right, this is actually very entertaining.
I remember I was reading this Facebook post. It was like a copy of a Facebook post, and this guy was on Walmart's Facebook page complaining that he got shitty customer service at this Walmart location that was next to him, and this was like in Ireland or whatever.
Yeah.
and the Walmart page goes, oh, well, if you want to just tell us the employee name or send us an email, you know, we'll be happy to address this for you. Mm-hmm. And the dude just goes, I ain't no fucking snitch. Handle it. I was just like, God damn, that was fucking hardcore.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, man.
Wow.
I don't know. I'll see if I can get the audio for next week. I think you guys will enjoy it. Or hate it. Either way, it's going to be entertaining for me.
Hey, if it's CCL, we're good. We can use it as an intro.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see if there's something we can agree on.
To answer your question, pretty much I've been playing Dragon Age: The Descent.
You seemed pretty excited a couple weeks ago about that.
After playing it?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Really?
That good?
It doesn't matter what difficulty setting you're playing it on. It really has a difficulty spike. Like, it'll start off nice and smooth, but then as soon as you get lower and lower, obviously it's called the Descent, so as soon as you get lower and lower in the dark roads, it just gets harder and harder, and you have a boss that do one-hit kills.
Holy shit.
Wow.
So you're gonna go from playing your main character to playing the mage you got running with you.
Damn.
So you're gonna be throwing buffs, they're on attacks, and you're gonna be going in for like. It literally took me an hour to defeat the final boss.
Damn.
And that puts into perspective the final boss throughout the game, because the main final boss, it only took me maybe 15, 20 minutes, because if it's your first time playing it, you're still learning it. But if you go in for a second playthrough, the time is shaved down.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the final boss on this DLC, taking an hour to complete it, just the boss alone, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So the game is good. The story is solid. It's just the difficulty spikes within the game. It's just that was the only thing that was annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me when I've been playing Diablo 3 a lot recently on my PS3, and hopefully I'll get I'm thinking that I might get a PS4 for my birthday, so if I do, I'm going to do the character transfer over to the PS4. But anyways, I don't know if anybody in the audience or if you guys have ever played Diablo 3, but there's like a bunch of different difficulty levels, and it goes from like easy, normal, hard, very hard, master, torment, and then torment 2 through 6.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got all the way up to torment 2 by the time I hit the end game, and I was doing pretty well. I was like, oh man, I'm still getting it. I'm still getting it in. I'm getting good, like better weapons and lots of gold. And I was happy. It was hard. It was more challenging, and but it wasn't like too hard. And then once I got to the last chapter, and I was fighting the Templar. You have like 3 companions. There's the Templar, the Enchantress, and the Scoundrel, and which is basically just the original, the warrior, the rogue, and the mage. Is basically all it is.
Hashtag rehash.
Yeah, so I was doing the Templars end game. Like you help him fight the boss and like the head of the Templars, and the dude was fucking cheap as hell, man. It's like he kept healing, and then I went online. I was trying not to go online because I wanted to beat it myself, but he kept fucking killing me, and it was like literally killing me on the inside. Like I can't fucking put a dent in this dude, and I couldn't do it, and it was just pissing me the fuck off. So I finally broke down. I went online. It's like, yeah, every time you kill one of his Templars, that heals him. And I was like, motherfucker. Because I would wipe them out, and like, I'd wipe out like 10 dudes in like, I don't know, 18 seconds or so. And he just kept, his life kept going up and up. So I finally found a way to isolate him in the hallway. The only problem was I was mashing X, so the doorway, the entranceway was right there, so I kept leaving and coming back. But luckily he was still there, but it was really annoying. And then that's how I found out that you can just hold down X and just keep doing the basic attacks. So I was like, oh, sweet, this is even better.
Let me do a gamer confession for you.
Okay.
I played Diablo 3. I ported my character into the PS4 version. Mm-hmm. Me and my friends modded our Diablo files.
Oh yeah.
So we burned through all the torments, and if we go to the Templar, we just wipe him and everybody off the fucking face of the map.
Nice.
Just one go. I'm pretty sure. I know they did an update not too long ago, so I'm pretty sure my modded game is my modded weapons are probably gone, but I still probably have all my gold. I still probably have maybe 5-7 billion.
Holy shit, dude! I was happy just reaching 2 million without spending it. Because I think in total, I've hit like the 10 million mark, or really close to it.
Yeah, so
but I only have 2 million because I'm always like buying shit and repairing my stuff and spending ridiculous amounts to fuse gems.
So if you get your PS4, I can help you out.
Cool. Yeah,
I got the coin.
The game's a lot of fun. I mean, I already beat the end game, and then I've played a few hours on the adventure mode, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. But I got up to Torment 3, And it doesn't feel rewarding. I don't know. Like, I get a lot of gold items and even a few, like, the legendary, like the orange-red items.
Yeah.
And they're not even better than anything that I have. Like, the orange items are, and I'll get those. I get like one every like 100 or 200 drops, I think. But all the yellow items I get, man, I've been like pining for like a new weapon that I can just wield. I'm a barbarian, and I found a really badass legendary two-hander, but it did less damage than my other two swords that I had dual wielding, but it gave me more stats and everything. So overall, it was better, but I don't know, the animations for the two-handers aren't satisfying, especially for like a Warhammer. So you can get those slices and stuff and feel like you're really plowing through. It's just like thuds. So it's not as satisfying and less aesthetically pleasing.
Well, that is weak sauce. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still haven't played Diablo 3. I'm sure I eventually will, and will eventually get a PS4 when I eventually have time to actually play video games. But I don't know. And I'm still patiently waiting for Metal Gear Solid 5, so
yeah,
when that comes out, I'm sure that'll be the game changer.
What was that?
It's next month.
Next month?
Oh, that's right, it is. It's like September 16th or something like that.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Well,
Yeah, September.
it's coming.
I'm not getting it.
No?
I mean, I was never big on Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. I actually don't play the games. I like watching them. So whenever Prometheus or Beetle, may he rest in peace, would play these games, I would just sit there and watch it. But I don't think I've played more than like 5 minutes of gameplay. And even then, Beetle tricked me when we were playing Metal Gear Solid 4. He was like, all right, I want you to... He's like, just play a little bit. He's like, no, man, I want to watch. He's like, no, just... It's not going to be long. Just walk Snake here, and then you're going to crawl under this army truck. I was like, okay. So I crawled under the army truck. It was literally like 10 seconds long. Like the whole... Like me walking and then getting to the truck, crawling under the truck, and then a new... 15-minute movie started.
Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. Like, yeah, that game was full of cinematics.
Yeah, and me, him, and I don't know if you remember Nathan, but we all just busted out laughing. I was like, oh, man, you got me. And he was just like, dude, this is a movie, dude. And I was like, it's still fun to watch and play, but...
When I saw my brother play Metal Gear Solid 4, I was like, okay, the game is not that bad. And it went right into I think a 35, 40-minute cutscene.
Yeah, there's a few of those, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? He was like, shh. I was like, shush me?
Don't shush me. We're watching a movie episode of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I feel
I
like...
know, it's a long-ass cutscene.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is almost like a parody of the whole series, because it's like, it's known for having, like, thematic cutscenes, but Metal Gear Solid 4, like, takes the cake.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, like you said, like, 30 or 40-minute cutscenes, it's like, is there a game in here? Or is this an interactive movie? Like, that's what it felt like.
And I'm not saying that I'm not excited for 5, or even like was excited to hear about Ground Zeroes, but I feel like 4 maybe should have been where it all ended. Well, like, I think I would have been comfortable with that.
I think, though, I mean, each game is almost meant to be like that. Like, Kojima kept saying, like, yeah, this is the last one, this is the last one, this is the last one.
For years.
Yeah, I think this one will only finally be the last one because he's done with Konami. I think that's the only way that it finally ended.
Because after this, I think Konami's just going to bury the series forever.
They're probably going to bury themselves. Like, he produces, like, half their games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting into the the phone market.
Yeah, the mobile gaming.
Mobile gaming, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, 4, I still haven't played all of it, but I know it's supposed to be, like, a good ending. But this one's a prequel anyway, so it doesn't affect that Snake's storyline anyway. So that can still be, like, the ending as far as it is, like, chronologically. Mm-hmm. So speaking of endings, we have a topic here about Resident Evil, the final chapter. So for anyone that's actually stuck through the Resident Evil movie series, it's finally ending. You're finally getting your payoff as Ali Larder is coming back as Claire Redfield. So,
I unfortunately have sat through everything.
Same here.
I've seen more than I expected to ever see. Because after the second one, I was done, and somehow I still managed to, like, be watching a movie with somebody, like, hey, let's rewatch Resident Evil. So I think I might have actually seen all of them, because I've seen, I want to say 3 of them, maybe 4 of them.
I've seen all of them.
I don't even know how many there are.
There
I
are
think this was
5.
like the
This is the
7th
sixth
one.
Oh, okay,
This
then
is
I
the
haven't
sixth
seen all
one.
of them, thankfully.
This is the 6th one.
I just saw one where like the entire thing was like they're on a prison island or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where it has Wentworth Miller from Prison Break as Chris Redfield.
Oh, okay, because
Captain Code.
I saw that one. I think I saw Extinction, where it starts off and there's like 20 Alices, and then they all die somehow randomly, even though they have telekinetic powers. And it was. I hate this movie. I hate this whole franchise. I want it to go away forever. It's polluting the airspace, and it just needs to die.
Here's a good
Yeah,
question.
there are rumors that it might get rebooted sometime in the future already. I hope that doesn't happen.
The-
All right, here's a good question. Do you think Wentworth Miller is going to return to play Chris Redfield?
Probably. Is he doing anything else with his life?
I don't think so, only because right now he has DC's Legends of Tomorrow to shoot, and then afterwards he has to go into the Prison Break miniseries. So I doubt they'll have him return, unless it's something very small that he can do like in like a day or two.
They're gonna replace him with J.G. Wentworth. Hey, it's his
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
I got the thanks a lot. Now I don't think Jingle's gonna be stuck in my head.
877 cash. No.
That's
Anyway,
not helping.
well, speaking of terrible movies,
Is that guy nationwide?
I guess so. I always thought he was just in Austin.
Yeah, I thought he was just like Houston, Austin based.
Yep.
Oh no, you see here during like Judge Judy or whatever.
Oh,
court
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
He's the king of daytime television. So-
They've helped thousands, they'll help you too.
I still think that
One lump sum.
Oh my God, why are you still going?
they really need to
I'll mail it straight to you. Don't
actually put down the money and get Samuel L. Jackson for that commercial.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's my money and I want it now. I just think it's a lost opportunity. They should go with it. But anyway, speaking of terrible movie franchises, Josh Trank is trying to distance himself from Fantastic Four, insists that his version was fantastic.
No,
Oh shit!
no.
I've heard a lot of conflicting
His
things.
version or Fox version was fantastic.
Well, I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. I heard there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I heard that he wasn't able to deal with such a huge budget, and that's part of the reason why the studio got so involved.
Yeah, if you remember earlier in the year, he was actually tapped to direct the next Star Wars film.
Yeah, that's right.
But the guy, man, what is his name? He's one of the producers for Fantastic Four, and he's also who's that?
Simon Kinberg?
Yes, yeah, Kinberg, right? Yeah, is it Sam or Simon?
Simon.
Okay, Simon Kinberg. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think it is him. He's actually a producer, I believe, for the Fantastic Four film and for the new Star Wars franchise.
Oh,
And
shit.
he played a big role in Trank getting the director role for both films. And so when
So
he's
it's his fault.
from Kinberg's own account or from people that were dealing with Kinberg and were on both sets, said that Kinberg saw what was happening with Trank on the set of Fantastic Four and recommended to the executives for the Star Wars franchise
Oh, I see.
to drop him
Yeah.
because of the way he was acting. So,
Unapproved.
yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if there was just like, oh, yeah, it's unfair. This guy didn't get to do his vision. Good thing we have him for Star Wars because he's going to do fantastic on that. But when that dude has absolutely no faith in you and like recommends to actually have you drop based on the behavior that he's seen from you, that to me shows that it's more
Your attitude.
Yeah, it's more attitude. It's more from Trank fucking up the film franchise than Fox. And Fox very well could have played a role, but I think Trank, I think it's definitely 50-50 on both sides. I think they both, didn't help to make this movie as best as it could.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely both sides. Fox with their interference, and Fox had no faith in this whatsoever from the beginning because they tried to get Josh Trank out of directing during the middle of production because they went to directors to replace him, and this has been confirmed by directors. They stayed anonymous, but they've been like, yeah, Fox came to us to take over the movie, and nobody is gonna be like, I don't want to take over this mid-production, and especially with the cluster mess that it is.
Especially when if you are a more celebrated director and you come in halfway and you're just like, what can I do? And then by the time the movie's made, it's like you're the one that's going to take the blame and take the hit. Like who's really going to want to do that unless they actually had like a vision for what they think the film should be?
Yeah, it's like you don't want that to blemish your record when you did only had like halfway.
When it was someone else's fault and you're going to be the one taking the hit for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just from like the very early stuff they started releasing about Fantastic Four, it's like it's one of those where it's like you're skeptical, and it's one of the few where it actually like lives up to like your terrible expectations. I kept thinking like maybe it'll be passable, but I was listening to the Spill review, and they're like, okay, the first 30 minutes is at least like decent. It's like, okay, this could go somewhere, and it said like the moment they introduced the superhero stuff, it actually just like tanks like quick. It's not just like, oh, okay, I'm not following this anymore. It's like, holy shit, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Two signs that this definitely wasn't going to be good was, one, Josh Trank telling the actors, don't read the comic book. Because we're not adapting. Which is fine. It's fine on the part that, you're not going to adapt an actual story. That's okay. You don't have to, bring a story to life. But you need to read the source material to understand the characters and their world. You can't say, don't read that.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that when they released the Doom clip, it was Fox officially released the clip of Doom. By the next day, they took it down.
JK.
Because it was awful.
Yeah.
It was god awful. But it's definitely not a good sign that they're taking down official clips.
Yeah.
It made you appreciate the Tim Story Fantastic Four just a little bit. And seriously, as cheesy and bad as it was still enjoyable to watch.
It at least good.
I had a dumbfounded. First off, I didn't pay to see Fantastic Four Fan Four Stick since they wanted to put the 4 in the middle. Fantastic. I didn't pay. I went to Movie Box and watched streamed it on my tablet. That's as much hate I had for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least the original two actually had, like, something going for them. Like, they had a few redeeming qualities.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Fantastic Four, we wouldn't have Chris Evans as Cap.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, Chris Evans was one of the best parts of Fantastic Four. Like, he was a great...
And Chiklis.
Yeah, it's like, he was a great Human Torch. Michael Chiklis was a great Thing. It's like... even Alba wasn't great, but it's like, it's just Sue Storm. You don't really have to do that much to be invisible.
On Jessica Alba, my brother came up with a good point. Nobody bitched when they had a Hispanic actress playing Sue Storm. But when you had a black actor playing Johnny Storm, everybody flipped the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was a little bit of fallout with Jessica Alba, because I remember me and my wife were actually arguing about that, where she was just like, it's like... She's never been a big fan of Jessica Alba, mainly because I admitted that I had a huge... I don't have a crush on her anymore. It's moved on to...
Is your wife near?
No, she's not near.
She's in the ether.
Yeah, she's in the ether somewhere. Now it's more like Zoe Saldana and Zoe Deschanel. And...
all actresses named Zoe.
Oh, all actresses named Zoe with different variations to the name. But, I had a huge crush on her. Like, she had Fantastic Four at the time, Sin City, whatever. And
Idle Hands.
Idle Hands. That's when I first discovered her, and I was like, "Dude, she's gonna make it." And then she did.
I first discovered her in a Disney movie named Punks when they did that original movie.
I remember.
Oh yeah, she was like 13 years old, right?
Yeah, she was like 16.
It was Dark Angel for me.
Yeah, Dark Angel. Yeah, she got Dark Angel
terrible
after.
Show.
Yeah, it was pretty awful.
Oh man.
So and anyway, the guy went off to do NCIS.
Oh yeah.
After he got out of that wheelchair.
So yeah. So anyways. She was talking about how, like, it's one thing if they cast her as Sue Storm, but the way they do it is they try to pass her off as white.
Oh, yeah.
And for her, that wasn't cool. Because they literally tried to lighten her dark features. They gave her blonde hair. They gave her the blue eyes. And it's just like, why didn't they just make her Hispanic? That was her big argument. It's like, that just seems like really lazy and fucking almost racist.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely there wasn't a whole lot of fallout. And that's actually, I'm glad you guys brought that up, because that was another point I wanted to bring up, which was so many people were defending these choices because, like, oh, why not make Johnny Storm black and his dad black and make Sue the adopted daughter. It's just for the, people were complaining, oh, it's for the sake of the social justice warriors. I'm like, yeah, but it could be an interesting twist, and it's not necessarily something that's going to ruin the film. It's just a character setting. It's something for people that don't normally have that kind of representation to have it. And I feel like, as bad as this movie is, it kind of hurts that message from it happening. Yeah. Oh, well, the movie bombed, because the executives are just going to look like, oh, well, this is the reason why the movie bombed. This is why we don't race swap characters, and that could potentially hurt future films. Like if they wanted to make, I don't know, Rogue Hispanic or Captain Marvel Asian, unless it's got continuity in the comics, there's probably a good chance that they're not going to do that.
Yeah, because this was definitely like a big opportunity. It is very unfortunate that it ended up being in that film. Because it's like they race swap characters all the time, but whenever it's like a black guy, it's always they're either the villain or their supporting role.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like in Daredevil, what's his face? The guy that
I was gonna say exactly that. Ben Urich.
It's like they made him black, no one gave a shit. They made the Kingpin black, no one gave a shit.
Yeah.
But you make an actual hero black, then it was like, all right, now you crossed the line. Yeah, they can't save the day. It's like it's bullshit like that, and it sucks that Fantastic Four was so terrible because now they can even despite the innumerable problems with the movie, and they'd be like, see, I told you Black Johnny Storm wasn't going to work.
Yeah, and then all those haters they're justified in that hate now. Well, that's the reason why the movie was bad. And it's like, well, I haven't seen it, but I can't exactly defend that either. I can just say, well, that's probably not true. It's probably because the director's horrible, because he used some of the same actors in his previous movies, and people love those movies.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something with the script writing. Oh, well, the script writing was horrible because they had to entertain, the fact that Johnny Storm's black even though he's white in the comics. And it's just like, that's so stupid, but, you're going to have those kind of arguments now, if not already.
Yeah, and it was definitely the script, because I didn't have a problem with Michael B. Jordan being black. The problem with in the movie is that, one, they're supposed to be, Marvel's first family. They had no family qualities in the movie. Johnny and Sue had, like, one scene together where they were together. You would have sensed nothing of them being a family. It's just like two people arguing. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I do agree. You did not see them together until the tail end of the movie. Man. And that was like, how are they the Fantastic Four and then they become the Four till the end of the feature?
Yeah. I don't know. I really do hope this is finally like Fox will just bail out and just be like, all right, we had our fun, we tried. What? Yeah. And they'll finally just give it back to Marvel. Because it's like, is anyone... Yeah. I mean, to me, it honestly doesn't even make sense. I mean, they could try to reboot it again, maybe, and maybe the third time will be a charm. But it's like, do they really want to sink all that money into a franchise that they have no idea how to handle?
No, if they were smart enough, which they're not, they wouldn't, because they're already standing to lose over $60 million, and that's half the movie's budget.
Yeah. I mean, just get a cold billion from Disney, give them that Fantastic Four, let us see a proper Doctor Doom.
Exactly. Yeah. See, and the thing is that Fox wants to make an X-Men TV show. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? You really want to make it, and they need Marvel's permission because they don't have the TV rights to the X-Men.
Oh.
You want to do it? You know what? How about you sweeten the pot, give the FF rights back?
Yeah, I think that would be a fair deal, Yep. TV rights for Fantastic Four movie rights.
Yeah. And Marvel doesn't even have to give them, like, the rights as in, okay, you own the rights. Marvel just has to give them permission. Mm-hmm. Marvel will still have the rights, just give permission to the TV show, and Fox can give back the FF rights. It'd be a win-win situation.
Yeah. Yep. I really hope that happens. I don't know. I just want to see the real Doctor Doom. I don't want to see this garbage that they keep portraying as him.
God, twice they screwed him up.
Yeah. Like, because I still kept holding out hope for that movie until I read the description for Doctor Doom. I'm like, if you can't get Doctor Doom right, you're not going to get the Fantastic Four right.
That is true.
So,
yep.
So speaking of... good.
I was going to touch on the Ben Urich thing. It sucks, spoiler alert, that they killed him off in Daredevil because he would have been so perfect to be used in Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did I miss that? Did he die?
Yeah, there's the part where the Kingpin shows up to his house, and he's like, I respect
choked him
you,
out.
blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, but you went after my mother. And he's like, I don't threaten easy. He's like, I'm not here to threaten you. I'm here to kill you. And he just fucking strangles him.
Oh, I must have missed that part, man.
Hashtag spoilers. He dead.
Well, I mean, I had seen the episode. I guess I
Yeah.
just missed that specific piece. I didn't know he died. He was such a good
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, he really was.
You know, I'm gonna watch the episode after we're done.
Because I saw the part at the very end. I think that's where the season ends, where Kingpin's right-hand man gets shot by, what's her name?
Well, there's still like a couple more episodes after that.
Yeah.
Is there? I thought
Yeah.
it stopped at episode 12.
No, because there's the
13.
showdown
13.
between Daredevil and Kingpin at the end. Oh snap! You got
Oh,
one
shit,
more
I
episode
thought that was
to
the
go.
end. I thought that was the
You got one
end.
more. You got one more to go.
Holy shit, I need to head back to that shit there.
Daredevil wasn't the only one
Well,
who didn't
all right,
see
Jay,
that
we'll see you
coming.
later. You can run back.
Holy crap, awesome.
Yeah, no, the season finale is really badass.
I thought that was, because it was still suspenseful to me. I was like, oh shit, that's one hell of... It's an odd cliffhanger, but it works. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to see Daredevil put on the suit.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, so he does put on the
Yeah.
suit. Yeah, because that was
Put
one
on
thing,
the
and I was
suit.
like, "How are you gonna have the suit on the fucking
Promos?
on the banner?" Yeah, for
Yeah.
Netflix when you're on Netflix to play the show. It's like I have not seen it in the show. It's like that's bold, but and it works.
tuned into season 2 to see the suit.
Yeah, I was like confused. Like, man, Marvel's really like putting it out there. Like, oh, we're not gonna put the outfit on until season 2, and I was just like, all right, cool, I'm down.
Here's what I found out: is when you finish a certain number of episodes of Daredevil, then the banner changes to Daredevil in the Matt Murdock to the suit.
Huh.
Holy shit!
So if people, I don't know if this is still true to now, but if people get a Netflix account now, and they watch Daredevil, they have Matt Murdock there. After they maybe finish 5 episodes, then it switches over to him as Daredevil.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I have noticed that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome when you finally see the suit in action. 'Cause I know they had that little like teaser where he puts his head down and you see the suit. And when I first saw it, I was like, I don't like this at all. And then when I finally saw it like in action, I'm like, this suit is badass. I can't wait for the next season. But yeah,
It makes.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it makes sense for his suit to be red and black. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
does.
Like NWO Wolfpack. But yeah, I was watching it like, man, I kind of want that suit. The suit's pretty badass.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of the Marvel characters, so I guess there's been a breakdown of the teams in Captain America Civil War. Although I talked to Ice about this on his show, so this might be a little bit inaccurate. But in Team Cap, they have Hawkeye, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, the Winter Soldier, and Ant-Man. And for Team Iron Man, they have Vision, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Iron Patriot.
That is true. He's actually going by War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine.
Yeah, just switch not Captain,
Hawkeye.
Black Widow to Cap side and Hawkeye to Iron Man, then it's correct.
Okay, see, that's what I thought, because when I saw that, I'm like, I wonder how accurate this is.
Yeah.
The description which you said first, it is right because they listed off a person who was live tweeting the event. Hawkeye is fighting for Cap. The discussion between Black Widow and Hawkeye was, Widow tells Hawkeye, "Are we still friends?" That determines on how hard you hit me.
Interesting.
I was like, oh shit, why would they make them fight?
Yeah.
'Cause especially after Age of Ultron, we know she's Auntie Nat. Why are you fighting?
Seems like they're going to have a tough time with Vision. It's like everyone
Yeah.
else, it's like, all right, they can go tit for tat with them, but I don't know.
Well, remember Ant-Man no, Vision is kind of OP.
Yeah, it's like, because it's like everyone else is kind of like around the same power level. Iron Man a little bit more than everybody else, but it's like, I can see Cap still going toe-to-toe with him. And then you throw Vision in there, it's like, hey, new guy. Yeah, you take that guy. We'll fight the rest of them. But then again, I guess Cap went tit for tat with Ultron, so I'm sure he can maybe stand up to Vision.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of. I don't know.
For a few minutes.
Yeah, I know, right?
But it seems like since if this, I don't trust Heroic Hollywood because I know they're the one who put out the roster for each side. I'm gonna like give it the benefit of the doubt and just like wait till we get closer and closer to the release. Because since if this is true, Spider-Man being on Iron Man's side, that means Spider-Man is in the movie a lot longer than we actually thought he would be.
See, my guess with that is because the whole thing with Spider-Man is it was apparently like Tony Stark is supposedly like giving out some sort of scholarship or something like that, and Peter might be end up getting it or something like that because there was a news mark somewhere. I think it was something in Ant-Man or one of the promotions that said Tony Stark, giving out scholarships to some neighborhood in New York or something like that. Well, what I think is going to happen is like Iron Man's going to be the one who meets up with him. Maybe he's the one who give him like his official, updated suit or something, and then say, hey, you know what? If I need you by my side, I know who to call. And it'll be something like that. So we won't actually see Spider-Man fight with him, but he'll be sort of on his side.
He's just like, well, he's paying my college tuition, so I guess I might as well be on his side.
He's paying the bills. He's my sugar daddy.
Because there's a whole bunch of reports saying all of Spider-Man's scenes has been 50% shot, and now Tom Holland is now in Germany getting ready to film with Chris Evans and everyone else for the rest of his scenes. And Civil War will finally wrap up after one more week, and then the movie's done.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
So it seems like Tom Holland is in the movie a lot longer than we like.
Well,
I don't know if that was like like they're just saying, oh, he's only in a small scene. We'll surprise him later, or something got changed, and let's have him in more scenes.
I know. I kind of feel like it probably has to do with. I mean, I think they had made because I thought they had written it before they officially got Spider-Man back, and then once they did, I think they kind of had to rework him into it.
They said they had like two versions of the script, one with Spider-Man, one without.
Oh, okay.
What do y'all think about the Black Panther suit? Now, we didn't get a good look, but it's good enough to be like, holy shit, it's actually happening. Like that's what I got out of it. Like, this is actually happening. We're getting Black Panther on the screen, and just in 2 more years, Captain Marvel's going to be on the screen as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where when I saw the suit, I was like, oh shit, this is finally happening. Please, no Apocalypse come because I want to see this.
Yeah. The Black Panther suit looks amazing. It looks just like the promo art they released a couple months ago or last year, somewhere around there. And in the description of the, when the trailer they showed out at D23, they said even his claws, like his fingers, like turn into claws like it does in the comics, which to me is amazing. It's something small, but I still love it.
So I can't wait to see all that. It's a perfect time to be a fanboy because you got Cap, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, Deadpool, all coming out within like months of one another. It's just
Yeah, next year is definitely going to be a great year for movies. It's like I'm pretty much excited for every single one of them.
Yeah, a great year for movies, a bad year for our wallets.
Very true, very true.
Now, I don't know if you guys have Discount Tuesdays, but I got Discount Tuesdays here in LA. And since I'm still in college, I not only get the Discount Tuesday, but I also get another $2 off. So I'm spreading about maybe $5-6 on a Tuesday.
Nice. On a Tuesday.
Yeah. We have a discount Tuesdays over here in Connecticut, but we don't. I don't think there's anything like that for like colleges. Like that's
we have full price Fridays over here.
Alliance, so yeah, I go to USC.
Yeah, I think even the matinees are like $8 or something like that.
And way overpriced Wednesdays.
Yeah. Totally taxing your wallet Tuesdays.
I never been to the Alamo. Well, obviously because California don't have one.
I think they're working on one.
Yeah, I'm hearing they're trying to put one. Like, I live in Compton, and something that sounds luxurious as the Alamo movie theater isn't going to be nowhere near the ghetto. I'll tell you that. It'll probably be like 2 hours away from where I'm at. I can definitely say it. I can know that for sure. That's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I feel like we have a place to talk in this matter because Alamo started here in Austin. and one of the original ones, which was the one on Southmar before it was just recently remodeled, it was like quaint and it had a really dingy atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was definitely in a more sleepy part of town, but there wasn't exactly high end. It wasn't exactly like bad crime area. It was just like this. Hey, it's on this part of town.
Yeah.
You know? And they probably put it here because at the time,
It's probably cheap.
the property taxes were really low. And it was a really nice place to go to, and it just like it kind of felt like your house. Like the seats weren't like great, but they were comfy enough. You know,
Yeah.
They were like those rocking ones. They like kind of reclined, but they didn't make those annoying like goo 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 like the movie theater regular ones do. But then, and then the one that they had downtown is still kind of like that, but they've been like slowly remodeling it here and there. And then they rebuilt Lamar, and then they built the one way up north, and those ones are like way more high end, a lot nicer. But it doesn't have that like local feel anymore. It feels more like you're going to how do I explain this? Kind of like the how we have the Paramount here, where it's more like upscale.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that upscale feel to where like, man, I should be wearing like a suit and tie going to these things.
Yeah, they definitely have fancied it up quite a bit.
Yeah, and so I can definitely see where Desi, where you're coming from with that, because I don't know, at least being from here in Austin and being, you know, and going to the original Alamo Draft House, the way they used to be, it definitely had that independent feel, and you didn't feel like you were just going to a regular theater. You felt like you were going to like a friend's house who had this really like snazzy setup, but it didn't feel like overpriced. It was actually pretty reasonable, and you could eat food while you were there. But now lately, it's kind of gotten more of that upscale feel, and it feels like it's catering to a certain crowd rather than just like, hey, come hang out because this is a better place to go than, well, around this area, South Park Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of the popularity of it.
Yeah, there's definitely the popularity that plays into it. You know, over the years, they've gotten a lot of publicity because of their ads and just because they're kind of rewriting the model for what a movie theater is.
And yeah, I'd definitely say their popularity has exploded, and I feel like, kind of like, I don't know, just the prices of food for movies, it actually is kind of on par. Because movie food is expensive anyway, and the Alamo Draft House is at least, like, it's reasonable compared to other movie food.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, expensive, but it's, like, you're getting better food quality for your money.
Well, there was that whole point, you know, you'd go there, and all their... Well, it kind of still is, but now it's more like their movie themes are more seasonal. Mm-hmm. Like, you used to get the Raging Bull pizza, and I don't think they have that. They might. I didn't really check the pizzas, but they had like the Raging Bull pizza after the movie Raging Bull.
Yeah, and the $5 milkshake.
That was my next point.
Or something like that.
Well, now it's just like premium milkshake.
Oh, that's right. They just got rid of it altogether.
Yeah, but it used to be called the $5 milkshake, obviously after Pulp Fiction. And I would always get that, like $5 for this damn good milkshake, and then like it's $6, $7. I don't even want to know how much it is now, but it's like it's not worth that price,
dollars.
You know. Especially when you can go to like Dairy Queen or even Whataburger and get just this really sugary shake, and it's just like, all right, well, I'd rather do that or go home and make a fucking smoothie than pay fucking $7 for 16 ounces of milkshake.
I mean, the prices are definitely a premium, but I don't know. I think the best thing about the Alamo is really the atmosphere. It's like the stuff that they have at the beginning of the movies, like the clips they have. And I don't know, it's like other theaters have done it similar, but no one right now is doing it like the Alamo, and I think that's why its popularity continues to grow.
As to why it's not going around Compton, I don't know. Definitely.
I'll say this before I have to go. I was at a comic convention not too long ago, and the person said the reason why stuff like movie theaters or comic book shops never thrive in areas like Compton is because not only the area, but it would be the least amount of places where people will like this kind of stuff. And that's why the only thing that thrives here is GameStop. Now, if you want to go to a movie theater, there's about 4 or 5 different movie theaters about 30, 40 minutes away from the city of Compton. So it'd be like, to give you an idea, we have Carson, Lakewood, Long Beach, Southgate and Downey, which is all about 35 minutes away from the city of Compton.
Oh wow.
And they can be within distance too if you take a bus, but that's a lot longer.
Yeah.
Comic book shops though are about at max 2 hours away from my city.
Wow.
So I will have to go to Hollywood
Damn.
to go to a comic book shop. Now, if I want to go to a comic book shop that's near me, it's still about the same amount of time, 2 hours. It's one called Metropolis Comics, just now becoming a lot more, I guess, publicly known because Jimmy Palminotti and Amanda Connor, every time they come down here to California, this is one of the places that they frequent.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is about 2.5 hours away from me, and if I had a car, it was only about a 30-minute drive. But it's still the fact that it's not to find out that it's not profitable. But when you go to libraries, and all of the comic books and manga are sold out,
Right.
It's bullshit because it's there. The people are there. It's just nobody won't take the risk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, all you would have to do is a simple survey around whatever area you might be interested in, and you could. I would actually encourage you to do it yourself, and just not even try to start your own business unless you're so bold. But even just tell to be able to tell other people hey, I've done this survey. I've gotten 200 or 300 people over X amount of months around this radius area. And people are fiending for a comic shop. People are fiending for an Alamo Draft House, just something like that. And the demand is here. It's just nobody wants to come here. What's up with that, Because then I think at that point it might just come down to race or just the stigma of Compton over the last 20 years.
Most people like this. Oh, that's a bad city. I'm like, bullshit. There's white people who come to Best Buy, and we got a Best Buy here in Compton.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people that's bullshit.
We got
we got Best Buy and Target.
People just assume
People
Ice
come
Cube's
down
just
here.
driving around mean mugging everybody. It's not like that.
Yeah, I literally had a friend who came out here, and she's like, "Ooh, I bet Compton's real bad like this." Well, we probably get a shooting every 2-3 weeks. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, other than that, it's fine.
Hey, check your
I'm
neck.
still alive. I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, I'm saying, I'm still walking the earth with my Deadpool t-shirt on.
Chimichangas. But yeah, I don't know. It definitely seems like that's one of the things where people have their perception, and there's a stigma, and it's so you have to. No one's really willing to try. It's kind of the same thing if you just take it back to the Johnny Storm being black. It's everyone's well, we can't star a non-white male as the hero because it won't sell. It's well, how many times have you tried? Oh, never?
Yeah.
Then how the hell do you know,
Right.
It's ridiculous. So
It's bullshit, and I agree with you because if people's going to nitpick Fantastic Four about being a bad, that the race of Johnny Storm is going to go first, then the studio and direction is going to be way placed in the back. So I'm just gonna tell those people. I'm gonna be one of those people who don't like to comment online, but I'm going to now. It's not about Michael B. Jordan. The movie was shit.
yeah.
It wasn't. It's not even supposed to be on his shoulders in the first place.
I think this is one of the few instances where it's the movie is so bad and so universally hated. I don't think people can even do the mental gymnastics to completely blame Michael B. Jordan. It's
Yeah.
no.
And there's people out there doing that though.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
haters gonna hate.
Movie Bob. He tore down each and every actor, the main cast, before he finally jumped onto the movie.
Oh wow, it's it would be if you took Star Wars Phantom Menace and started tearing down that cast. It's well, Natalie Portman wasn't very good in this role. It's well, look what she had to act with, It's you can do that with most bad movies.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I haven't seen it, but I was listening to a review and they're talking about Hayden Christensen. Everyone's he's very wooden in his performance, but it's apparently he has some indie movie where he can actually act his ass off. But it's if you have really terribly written material, it doesn't matter how good of an actor you are.
Yeah.
My favorite example is Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson was boring in Star Wars. Samuel L. Jackson is many things, but Samuel L. Jackson is not boring. If you could make
not
him,
naturally, anyways.
Yeah, it's like, but you can't make. I mean, if you can't make Samuel L. Jackson interesting in your movie, then you're terrible at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the same thing with like Fantastic Four. It's like, it doesn't matter how good or bad those actors were; they weren't given the right material to shine anyway.
See, if Samuel L. Jackson was a buff in a video game, it would add plus 100 interesting to whatever item you added it to. So it's an automatic thing. So it's like if you add Samuel L. Jackson to your movie, that's a plus 100 interesting. And if he's not interesting, how many negative interesting points did you have to begin with?
It's
so
like
not even his 100 points of interesting could save the movie.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's people are going to be ridiculous no matter what. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Like I don't even get upset about some people like whining online sometimes now, because it's just like they're going to do it no matter what. Like you can have all the facts in front of you, and they're just going to try and find something to nitpick because they want to. It's like they already have their opinion, and they're just trying to fit everything else to try and back that up. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if you have to go now or if you can stay for the next topic.
Yeah, but I have to get ready for work.
Alrighty. Alright, well...
All right, so...
well, it was nice having you on the show. It was awesome to be on your show and to talk about X-Men the Animated Series. Obviously a huge favorite of mine, so I'm always down to talk about it.
Well, thanks again for having me on, and thank you guys for being on my podcast.
Yeah.
And...
Anytime.
I don't know what else to say because my mind is totally burnt.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. We'll definitely have to have you on again.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have like a part 2 of X-Men the Animated Series, or we can talk about, I don't know, maybe we'll have you on like after Civil War or something and talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like a compare and contrast. No, not the comic book. No. Never mind. That lets you know my mind is burnt when I almost said let's compare and contrast the book to the movie, and I don't even like the freaking miniseries.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. The movie's gonna be better than the book.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark Miller. You're one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
and I love the book, and I think the movie's gonna be better.
Yeah, I like the first 2 issues.
Before I go, you know what's weird? Jeff Loeb was one of the writers, and he's doing. I feel the miniseries sucked, but he's doing super great with all the TV stuff from Marvel.
I can't forgive Jeff Loeb for Ultimates 3, but
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
I guess it's one of those situations where he's better at not writing and just handling behind the scenes.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, he's probably just good at managing. He's like, this is what I would write if I could write good. You write this. So yeah,
his last good work would be Spider-Man Blue.
Okay, I haven't read that one. Maybe I'll give it a shot. So, yeah, definitely check out Desi at nerdsagainsttheworld.net.wordpress.com. Check out his podcast, Nerd Against the World. And, yeah, sometimes I think you post it in the Facebook group, and, yeah, people should definitely check it out. Give it a listen.
I will. All right. Thanks again, guys.
All right, thank you.
Take care, brother.
Peace.
So, our next topic, we got 99 problems, but 100 bullets isn't one. Tom Hardy apparently is signing on to do, or he's getting behind 100 bullets. So I don't know if he's actually. He's
supposed to produce and star in it.
Yeah. So I've never read 100 Bullets. I know it's one of those graphic novels that everyone like loves.
It was one of the first ones Jen actually read, and she was really into it. I think she read the first 3 volumes. I have the first 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stopped collecting. You know, it's at the point where like you get so many different titles.
Yeah.
And then you just keep piling other ones on. And for me, it just ended up being East of West, Saga, DMZ, a couple other ones. And 100 Bullets, I never fully got into it. It was definitely a really interesting story. But I stopped at 4 a few years ago, and I haven't caught up since. But
Gotcha.
I couldn't tell you anything about what the story is. But I was super stoked to find out that like Tom Hardy is really like petitioning hard to get this movie made.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, Tom Hardy's one of those actors. I mean, he's not... I mean, I guess most of his work is good. Like, if I see he's in a movie, I'm like, it's got my attention.
Yeah.
You know, he typically picks good scripts. The fact that he's adapting, you know, a well-renowned comic, even one that I'm not familiar with, like, it definitely definitely has my interest, and I hope that the thing actually sees the light of day. Sometimes they're like, well, we're getting behind this, and then it never happens. So hopefully we'll get to see 100 Bullets, and maybe we'll actually pick it up and learn what it's actually about.
Yeah, I've never read it, but from what I hear, it's supposed to be like one guy who supposed to, like going after people or something like that, and it's called 100 Bullets because he's going to be apparently shooting like 100 people, so one bullet per person.
Some pretty good names.
And yeah, because I talked to some people that they said like it should work better as like a TV series rather than a movie, because I guess in a movie, if you're gonna try to do what like the comics actually about, then it's gonna be like really constrained, and you're gonna be like really trying to like make sure you get through everything, and it's gonna be feel like more rushed sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I've never read the material, so I'm not sure how that exactly would work in a movie versus a TV series. Besides what I've been told.
Yeah, I feel like in general, any type of serialized story is definitely going to be best adapted to TV. But I don't know, maybe they got a plan to condense everything pretty well. So speaking of lots of bullets and people dying, the Hateful Eight trailer has been released. The movie Tarantino got so mad he said he wasn't going to make, and then he said, fuck it, I guess I'll go ahead and make it since I wrote the damn script already.
Yeah. So, especially because it looks so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like really excited for this movie. I think the trailer looks amazing. The cast is superb. I think it's just like everything is just lining up to be a great movie.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be really fun. I mean, I like, it's pretty much like everyone who's been in a Tarantino movie all is coming together again. Like Samuel Jackson's in there. Was it Kurt Russell or?
Yep. Yeah. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I don't know. And what's his face from Inglourious Bastards, the German guy.
Don't remember him.
Von's German. But yeah, it's like
Christopher Waltz.
Yeah, Christopher Waltz. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. It looks good. I'm definitely excited for it. I'm glad he decided to make it. And I don't know. Tarantino films are always fun. Like they're never like deep or anything, but they're always damn entertaining. The most interesting thing I think is that he's always been very against actually having somebody score his movies, and this was like the first time he's actually not just used pre-existing music for the movie. I think it's like I don't remember what the guy's name is, but I guess he's a well-renowned Western composer for Western movies. So he's actually letting him score the movie. So I think it'll give it a little bit of a different feel.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I mean, especially the way Kurt Russell looks with that like giant mustache and beard, and the costumes just like it looks so awesome.
I just can't wait to see like how ridiculous his version of the West is going to be. Because it's going to be over the top and ridiculous.
Well, it's supposed to take place in that one cabin in the middle of like a snowstorm.
Oh, so it's going to almost be like, what's it called again? Reservoir Dogs? Where everything just takes place in that one room?
Something like because you have like, supposed to be like, 8, like killers or, something like that, like all trapped together. And after one person that Kurt Russell's character has, like in the trailer it says, like, this prisoner is mine. Wanted dead or alive, but I'm taking her in, and if anybody's got a problem, they're gonna have to come through me, something like that. It's a paraphrase.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I didn't realize it only had like one setting, but yeah, I don't know. I always find that really intriguing because it seems like something that's kind of difficult to do. It's like you're really restricting yourself, so you have to come up. I mean, obviously Tarantino's like biggest thing is like dialogue, so if anyone can do it, he can.
Yep.
So. Just to hop into some more Marvel topics, being Captain Marvel, being Ronda Rousey, sharing some fan art of her as Captain Marvel, and it looks good. Like she definitely looks the part. She definitely has the athleticism to be a superhero. However, her acting not quite up to par. I finally saw that clip where she fights Michelle Rodriguez, or it actually only has her there. Like I think the fight's like about to start, then it just like cuts. But it's like the few lines she has to deliver, and her body language is so stiff. It's like okay, I understand that it worked for Tyrese Gibson, but he's actually an actor, Yeah. Like I know Ronda Rousey eventually wants to make the jump to acting full time, and I'm sure it will happen at some point. But I really doubt it's going to happen with Captain Marvel. It's like it's too big of a role for someone who's way too green. Right now, like I think she should definitely be in a Marvel movie, but I think it should be more of like a cameo, like GSP when he was Batroc the Bleep. Or
I can definitely see something like that.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I could
She'd be a good
definitely
Hellcat.
see her. I couldn't remember the character's name, but there is a certain established Marvel character that she could probably be perfect as if you don't give her any lines at this point. But I can't
Echo?
remember- I think it's like Titana or something like that.
Oh, I think
I
Echo.
can't remember her name exactly. But yeah, she'd be perfect because she's, that's like a muscular, fighting character. Great for Ronda Rousey. Just don't give her any lines. Will work out perfect.
Titania.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's one of
yeah.
She-Hulk's bulkier villains.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool. I don't know.
I'd like to see her as Echo.
I think that'd be interesting.
The deaf.
Yeah, the Daredevil companion. I don't know if she's a villain or not. I've only seen her.
No, I don't think she was.
No,
I've never heard her
She
before.
was in New Avengers for a while as well.
Okay, she's one with the handprint on her face.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she would actually work out as Echo too.
Because, you could work in Rouse's technical skills and fighting prowess on that street, quote-unquote, level, and not give her any lines.
Yeah.
Or maybe slowly incorporate them.
The fact that she has no lines, I think, might actually be harder, because then she has to do more, like, physical acting, and I don't think she's really, like, quite there yet.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'd like to see them find a role for her.
Yeah, at least on the Titania side, there's a lot more fighting in that one, so that she can do.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but either way, it's like, yeah, Captain Marvel, I respect her ambition, but, I don't see it happening.
I'm going to read some of these comments here. Hang on, these comments for the podcast. Boom. Okay. Yeah, so one dude in the Facebook chat group, Chris Holm, wrote, Captain Marvel is a blaster, not a bruiser. She'll have to act while in a flying harness opposite a tennis ball. Being able to grapple someone in under a minute has nothing to do with it. She's cool and can learn her stuff, but she's not experienced. I would love to see her in a Daredevil episode, though.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it's Echo.
Sean Vereen, a.k.a. the Ice Cream Bandit. If she gets some serious acting under her belt, I can see her doing it. And then Latavia Williams said, Expendables 3, thumbs down.
I still haven't even seen that.
Roger Ebony Elledge. If Channing Tatum can do it, so can Rousey. I thought he was being, what's the word, facetious?
Yeah.
And I got it, and I think Fuzzy, he took it up a level. Shit, you know how many movies it took before Tatum became a decent actor? Rousey ain't ready. And then I told him, unless I'm giving him too much credit, I believe Roger's mocking the Ledger defense. And then Gerard felt defensive and said that defense needs to rest. So I don't know where he was quite going with that.
I think he was just messing around. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. And then ICB comes back and says, defense is what you will need when they lock you in the cage with her. Oh.
I like the picture of the guy like,
Yeah.
what?
The question mark guy. And then you wrote, Ronda Rousey is a badass, and I'd love to see her kicking ass in a Marvel movie, but I think Captain Marvel is too much too soon.
I do not sound like that.
And then Jelani, also known as Doom on the comic board.
Doom!
As a cosplay, epic. As a reality, no. She is untested as an actress. Carano has been in a couple of movies, and even she's still too green. This isn't even in the same realm as GOG, Guardians of the Galaxy, and banking on an untested Pratt and hoping he'll be able to carry the movie. I kind of butchered that sentence. I don't want to see Natalie Dormer as Danvers like a lot of people, and as much as I don't want to agree with it, I can't help but think Katie Sackhoff is the best choice for the role. Now, Rousey showing up as Colleen Wing, as a Colleen Wing cameo in Marvel's Daredevil series, I'm all for that. I'm not familiar with Colleen Wing, although I know who she is. I thought she was Asian.
Oh, okay. She was the one that was in like that Heroes for Hire thing. The Daughters
of the Dragon.
Of the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah. With Misty Knight, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know, but yeah, it's like... I mean, you have to be able to act to carry a movie. I mean, for the most part. There are definitely actors that can get away with
like
it.
the titular role.
Yeah, for a huge Marvel movie, like... I mean, they're calling out like all the big guns now. It's like I think if like this was the mid '90s when like Spawn was the big superhero movie, it's like okay, I can see that. You know, or if she's at least had like more room to grow as an actress, I think that it would also be more of a possibility. But she's really only had like 3 cameo roles. Well, I guess she was a full character in Expendables 3, but even that doesn't require even the more seasoned actors,
quote unquote, fool.
Even the more seasoned actors, like still, don't sound that great. So Fuzzy's in the chat says, "I don't sound like that, you douche."
I'm not a douche. And then Chris Alvarez says, Emily Blunt, please, pretty, please. Actually, after seeing her in Die, Repeat, Kill, or Die, Kill, Repeat.
Yeah. All you need is kill.
All you need is kill. Yes. I didn't know that she could do action, and I was incredibly impressed. Because she's a very versatile actress. I've seen her in a few other movies. Some I can't name, but the first one I saw was... I think she was in Little Miss Sunshine, if that was her. Or another movie where there was like her and a sister and their like mom just died or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And she was really good in that movie. And then there was another suspense thriller she was in. I can't remember that one, but she was good in that movie too. And seeing her in here, I didn't really know what to expect. Like I didn't go into Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you, Fuzzy. I didn't go into that movie thinking like, oh, she's gonna be terrible. Like I honestly didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know what to expect of the movie.
Yeah.
Which really wasn't much. So I went into it and I was like, oh man, she's badass and she's got the suit and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't know, she was rocking it. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And once the movie ended, I wasn't even like trying to critique her or Cruise's role. I just thought it was a very fun movie.
Yeah.
And if they were to either one of them were to play a Marvel or DC superhero, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? They're both incredibly good actors.
Me and a couple of friends have been saying that we would love it was never gonna happen, but we would love to see Tom Cruise as Moon Knight. Because I think he'd probably do that whole different schizophrenia thing. Before how they did Moon Knight before. He would definitely pull that off.
Definitely, especially since he refuses to take medications.
Yep.
I don't need any meds. Yeah, I don't know. For me, Katie Sackhoff's still my choice, but Emily Blunt would definitely be a good choice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Katie's my number one, but Emily would also work perfectly.
And since she's British, you could always have her come in as like Captain Britain or something like that.
Oi, it's me, Captain Britain.
Even though that probably would consider her an X-Men character, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
That's Quicksilver Scarlet Witch territory right there, I think.
It should be, but I think he's a mutant, though.
Is he?
Maybe.
Captain Britain, no.
Well, he's a miracle.
Oh.
He lives in the age of miracles.
Captain Britain is the only one in that family that's not a mutant.
Oh, okay. Well,
but, I mean, I think you could easily make her...
I still feel like he would fall under the X-Men, though.
Yeah, I think he does, especially because of Excalibur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Captain Britannia! So anyway, apparently there's going to be a 24 spin-off, but it won't have Jack Bauer.
Then it's not 24. I don't care what Fox says.
Yeah,
it's a spin-off.
It's not 23.
It's not 24. It's a 24 spin-off.
I mean, didn't they already tried a Jack Bauer. They already tried a 24 spin-off without Jack Bauer.
What?
It had, what's his face? Freddie Prinze Jr.
Uh-huh.
Do I need to say any more?
He's a good actor. He's not bad.
But you're going to fill Jack Bauer's shoes with Freddie Prinze Jr.? No, you're not. And they didn't. And it didn't. I think it lasted like a season.
48 hours starting Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte.
I honestly hadn't even heard of it until like I got into rewatching 24 on iTunes, or not iTunes, on fucking Netflix. I was like, what the hell? They made a 24 spin-off with his lame-ass character.
And you secretly loved it.
I never actually watched it. It wasn't on there.
And you secretly never watched it.
It was like, because his character's not bad, but it's like, it's the equivalent of replacing Arnold Schwarzenegger with Colin Farrell.
He wasn't bad, but I didn't hate him.
But it's like, really? Like, that's going to be your follow-up? Somebody who's not anywhere near the character that you're trying to replace? But
it wasn't not okay.
But at least I'm assuming it's gonna follow the chick that was in Live Another Day. I don't know what her name is.
Live Another Day?
Yeah, that's the name of the most recent 24.
Oh.
Like that was like the half 24. That was the
Shabazz.
12.
That was like a bootleg, like Remington Steele, James Bond ripoff.
Live
Live another day.
Live
You talking
another.
about Yvonne Shabazz?
Yeah, I mean she would be cool. Like I mean I wouldn't watch it.
You
but
mean Miranda?
I feel like if I had like just extra time, I would check it out. Like she was good. She was like I can see her like carrying the torch because she became very Jack Bauer throughout that series. But to me, it's like I don't know. I don't care about watching 24 without Jack Bauer. Like the show's not. I mean, it's like it's not that good of a show. Like Jack Bauer just being ridiculous is what makes that show entertaining.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where he's just choking people out that are his
I mean,
friends.
come on. One of the best moments is when he shot RoboCop's wife in the leg.
Yeah.
I think what they should do is do a 24 spinoff starring Tom Jane.
Nah.
And kind of reprise, like, kind of do like a pseudo role, kind of like how they did Walker Texas Ranger off Lone Wolf McQuaid.
Yeah.
And just do that off his performance in Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
where he's just like batshit crazy. In that more vengeful sense. Because I want to see him like running again, just doing that like, Maria! Maria! And just like bolting down the beach.
Yeah, I still can't do
And
it.
going on like a path of vengeance.
Jack Bauer or nothing.
He can be Tom Bauer. I'm Tom
Well,
Blower.
If Jack Bauer didn't already murder his family, then he could maybe be a brother.
He'd be like the long-lost, illegitimate brother.
As we know, the only thing
We
that
had different moms.
the only person I would actually accept would be Kim Bauer. It'd just be like the adventures of Kim Bauer and her just getting captured by terrorists and just having like the worst luck ever, falling ass backwards into like a plot to assassinate the president. Like if they made it like a comedy and she's just like somehow like dumbs her way into like saving the day. That I could see. I could see that. Or she just becomes like a mercenary who's like, I'm getting my father out of that Russian prison.
Yeah, somehow.
By employing Thomas Jane.
I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to be corrections officer, and I'm going to learn all the routes and techniques, and I'm going to do all the stuff, and slowly, one day, I'll get my dad out. And then, like, 2 weeks later, before she even gets the job, she's still going through, like, the 2-month-long process of landing a job there, and he, like, breaks out of prison. She's like, God damn it. I sold all my life savings. How am I going to get back home?
Don't worry, I got a plane. Yeah,
Crazy.
I don't know.
Crazy.
But we'll see. I mean, Fox is obviously desperate for shows, but still, I can't dig it. But what I can dig...
Can you dig it?
Well, apparently a New York attorney can dig it.
Really?
Because he was in court, and he says that I will get no justice here, so I'll let the gods decide my fate. I demand a trial by combat. That's like been my favorite article that I've read in a long time. Where the guy's like, well, the Constitution doesn't say you can't have a trial by combat. It's like, that doesn't mean that you can. You know? You're a lawyer. Like, you really think that was going to fly? I actually hope...
You dig that, sucker?
I really hope that he actually gets, like, granted his trial by combat, and they actually make him fight the guy who plays the mountain.
Yeah.
They're like, you can do it, but you can't request a champion. You got to fight. And then he's got to fight, like, the ghost of Andre the Giant or something.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
I am slow, but I'm very powerful.
I think the best is the fact that I think he's being, like, sued by, like, former clients, probably for
Dead
not...
Andre the Giant?
No, the lawyer. And probably for not being a very good lawyer is my guess. Like, I'm assuming he did something terrible in his official capacity as a lawyer, and that's why they're suing him.
Yeah.
So now, in his official capacity as a lawyer, obviously being terrible as a lawyer, he's like, hey, trial by combat, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you can't take me to court.
I've been taking Krav Maga.
Yeah, it is the attorney Matt Murdock. That would be awesome. I would love to see that episode. It's like, I can see. Well, I can't see that I'll get no justice here.
It's like Toph in Legend of Korra.
He has Foggy be his champion.
You're blind compared to me.
He's just beating people with billy clubs. Is there no one else? Oh,
Is there
man.
no one else?
I just really feel like he literally actually like just finished watching that episode of Game of Thrones. Like, you know, this is a pretty good idea. So it didn't work out for Tyrion, but maybe it'll work out for me. So I don't know. That made me
We'll
laugh.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hashtag spoilers didn't work out well for Ober and Martell.
All my life.
So apparently,
Thinking about my little man, so I
George
called my wife.
George Double R Charles Martin
Yo, Dada,
is
about to make it happen.
is aiming for
What
a
you mean, money?
Lord of the Rings ending to Game of Thrones, whatever the hell that means.
I'm about to make it rapping.
So he says, I haven't written the ending yet, so I don't know, but no. That's certainly not my intent. I've said before that the tone of the ending is going for bittersweet. I mean, it's no secret that Tolkien has been a huge influence on me, and I love the way he ended Lord of the Rings. It ends with victory, but it's a bittersweet victory. Frodo's never whole again. He goes away to the Undying Lands, and the other people will live their lives. And the scorn of the Shire... and the scorching of the Shire, brilliant piece of work, which I don't understand. I didn't understand when I was 13 years old. Why is this here? The story's over. But every time I read it, I understand the brilliance that that segment more and more. All I can say that's the kind of tone I'm aiming for. Whether I achieve it or not, that'll be up to the people, like you, my readers, to decide.
So,
Yeah, but it's like, I feel like his interpretation of the ending of that book is far different from the interpretation anyone else would get from that ending. Because the book still ends on a really fucking high note. Even, like, the article kind of says that. It's like, yeah, it's like Frodo may or may not have to deal with, like, you know, always craving, like, the power of the ring, you know, because he was the ring bearer, just like, what's his name? Bilbo.
Yeah.
And what's his name? What's the fucking creature?
Gollum
before him. So, you know, it's like, yeah, he's always going to have to deal with, like, you know, it's like a disease. It's like living with Parkinson's or some shit like
he's
that.
He's going to be an addict the rest of his life.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, I get where Martin's coming with that, but it's, I mean, and then, yeah, then there's the whole thing with Saruman where they come back and Saruman's taken over the Shire, but it's like, they kill him. And everything goes back to normal. They fucking have a party. They have, like, 18th dinner that night.
They're just drinking out of his skull.
Yeah. Make sure to clean out the eye guns.
Would he try to do something like the Lord of the Rings movies and give us, like, 25 endings as
Oh,
well?
my God. Well, probably. Unless, like, all the characters are in the same spot, they probably will have, like, 25 endings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see where he's coming from. Mainly, only for me, I mean, I don't remember the Shire part. I just remember Frodo, like, pretty much dies at the end, and he goes away to wherever the elves go.
Yeah, what was the land of the lost?
I don't know.
The Undying Lands. That's
yeah.
what it was.
So, I mean, I can see that, where it's like your hero at the end. I mean, he's going to pretty much heaven, but, I mean, he is dying. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of bittersweet. But... I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
we'll take care of him.
I do know, like, early on when he had mentioned it, he said, like, he doesn't believe in happy endings, so he doesn't go to most massage parlors.
Yeah.
But he was...
Maybe he does, it just never ends the way he wants it to.
He's like, no!
I'm so sorry, that never happens.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I spilled my ink.
I want you to stop when I say I'm about to ejaculate. Like, why? It's like, because I hate happy endings!
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine the series is wrapping up and everything ending very well. I mean, I'm assuming a character that's beloved is eventually going to die. I mean, I can't see any other way for an ending with the way that he set it up. The thing that I do think is interesting is that, according to the showrunners, they know how it's going to end. But according to George R. R. Martin, he doesn't know how it's going to end. But somehow he told them how it's going to end when he himself doesn't know.
Yeah. Holy shit. Mind boggle.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Somebody apparently is telling a fib. I mean, maybe he doesn't know, like, the exact ending. Maybe he knows, like, Jon Snow will marry Daenerys and the dragons will kill the White Walkers. Maybe he knows, like, the broad strokes, but he doesn't know, like...
Yeah, like the general plot, but not the details.
Yeah. Is dragon fire different from regular fire, or is it just fire?
It's probably... Well, I don't know, because they're magical, so it might be, like, magic fire.
Right, yeah, that's what I was asking.
But regular fire does kill them, too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that hasn't been explored in the show. I mean, the books obviously are completely different.
Yeah.
So you can easily draw from the books and be like, oh, yeah, they could incorporate that if they wanted to, but we haven't actually seen fire used against the White Walkers.
Yeah, they showed it on the Whites, like when they kill that one that tries to kill Mormont and Jon Snow. But but there's supposed to be a scene that they completely cut out of season 3 when the Night's Watch are at the Fist of the First Men, and they get attacked by the White Walkers, and they already know at this point fire kills them, and they know that the dragon glass kills them. Like, they have dragon glass arrowheads, and they're shooting them.
Right, okay.
So, in the book, they know that, but then it's like, in the show, they completely omit it, because they show that they don't show any pain or any weakness, and they can't be killed with conventional means.
Yeah.
And ironically, one of the best episodes when they go to Hardhome and they get like ravaged by all the White Walkers, they're just killing them. They're killing them like they're nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they suddenly killing all these people that can't die with no fire?
Right.
You know, like that was the
Yeah,
only thing
yeah.
that irked me about that episode. Like I can understand if they just chopped them to pieces and they just couldn't function.
Yeah.
But I think even in the scene where Jon Snow's getting attacked one, I think he chops his hand off and the hand's like still like strangling him or something.
Oh shit.
But I don't remember distinctly. But either way, it was kind of like it was weird that they just completely omitted the fire portion of it.
Yeah.
When it seems like that is clearly leading somewhere with the dragons.
Yeah, especially when you're using the backdrop for something that's only really mentioned in the books. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, Hardhome was hit hard.
Yeah.
And then they actually
Pretty
make it
much.
an episode, and it's just like, yeah, they pull a bunch of shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, still a great episode.
yeah.
Love the shit out of it, but there's a little bit of incontinuity.
Yeah,
there.
I feel like they dropped the ball, but at the same time, it was so amazing. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna excuse it.
Yeah, you're kind of lost in the moment, and you're just like, oh, sword fight, finally.
Well, not only just sword fight, but it's like you finally see why they're such a huge threat.
Right, right.
You know, it's like
you finally see why. You finally understand the importance of the phrase "winter is coming."
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit.
Well, just like the desperation, because like the leader of the White Walkers is just sitting there, pretty much just doing the, bring it, bitch,
Yeah.
just raising the dead. Well, like everyone's just like dumbfounded, like we gotta fight these guys.
That was one of the funniest parts where like they kind of look like the four horsemen sitting on top of that
Yeah.
cliff, and like the main one, he's like looking down, or I guess like the Frost King or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I think it's the Night's King.
Yeah, the Night's King. He's looking at Jon Snow, and Jon Snow's like, yeah, we've barely made it by the skin of our teeth, and the guy's just like, I still got one more trick. And then he just lifts his hands, and then all the dead bodies.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, my army just got bigger. Yours just suddenly stayed the same.
Yeah.
And got a lot smaller.
And just the way like that when the guy who was like the leader of the Thens, like they're not known for being like the most skilled, but of the wildlings they are the most skilled, and he gets taken down in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Especially for being cannibals and stuff, they're definitely like seemingly like the most fearless.
Yeah,
and these dudes are like
exactly.
running for the water.
Yeah. So I don't know, that episode, like, it just put the entire series in perspective. It's like all the other stuff going on in the entire series means nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just,
This only kind of has me excited because it's like it's one thing when you have like these really nomadic tribes.
Mm-hmm.
They've still kind of lived in the shadow of fear of the White Walkers.
Yeah.
And kind of dreaded the day that they were coming. Whereas in Westeros proper, you have all these people that have like literally. It's almost like if you ever read what is that? It's called Letter 41 by Charles Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, it kind of explains President, quote-unquote, Bush. They call him something else, like Peters or something like that.
Yeah.
But the reason why he went to the wars in Iraq was to get the world ready for war against aliens. Because that's what the whole letter was about. Like, we found alien life out, in the asteroid belt. And that's what these wars were for, to like get the
Really?
warm... Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good book.
So now that definitely intrigues my.
Yeah,
me to
definitely
read it.
definitely start reading that. And it's not like a really big spoiler, but it's like one of those like endings, like the last page ending. Like I think it was like issue 4 or 5. You're just like, holy shit! It's just really good.
Rosebud was the sled. all
Yeah,
along.
yeah, exactly. So
Awesome. Yeah, that definitely makes me want to read it now.
So it kind of makes you think like Westeros has been like battle hardened all of these years, whereas like you see like the Thens, like the most hardened of these nomadic tribes, like running for the water. But I feel like if the White Walkers came to Westeros, like I think all the knights, like even like some of the most badass knights in the armies of like Casterly Rock and King's Landing and wherever else. They're all going to be like, this is it. This is where we die. Like I feel like they would feel like much more purpose in their lives. Like if they died fighting the White Walkers, like my name's going to go in history, kind of thing. And you have all these battle-hardened warriors, people that have been fighting all their lives. Like if they still had what's his name, Barristan Selmy still alive to this day. Like he'd be like, this is where I can finally die. That kind of feeling where it's just like, yeah, you're going to have these really badass dudes that have seen some shit, seen more shit, but they're not going to be scared. They're going to be ready for battle. You know, it's just going to be another enemy for them, even if it is tougher.
Yeah.
And to me, that was something like, I wonder if that's going to get explored, or if they're just going to literally have the White Walkers like run them over. You know.
I'm of two minds, because on one hand, I can definitely see certain warriors like accepting the challenge.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they're also battle weary. They've been fighting a war for like years and years.
Because you kind of see a little bit of that at the Fists of the First Men, where you like, you know, these guys battle hard. I mean, they're criminals for the most part, but I mean, they've more or less turned into soldiers. But they duked it out with the White Walkers, you know, and I mean, it wasn't like a decisive battle, but for them it was. You know, it's just like, shit, we can take them on if we get this dragon glass and fire going.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of that, but I think if anything, it was just like they knew how overmatched they were.
Right.
Because like at the end, like they're like there's like a few that survive, and they're just trying to even survive the trek back in the snow.
Right.
You know, like the White Walkers, there's really no reason why they didn't just kill them all.
Yeah.
You know, they almost were just like wanting to hunt them for sport.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, but I think it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm still waiting for like what's going to happen, because the wall obviously has to come down for the White Walkers to even get there. But I don't know. I'm just excited. Like I was teasing Cindy earlier. I was like, only 6 months away from Game of Thrones coming back.
You sound like a guy on the verge of retirement.
Yeah, my last day on the Force.
And then you're gonna get Simpsons syndrome.
Yeah. So
This is his last day before retirement.
Like in freaking Futurama with Pac-Man, General Pac-Man. He gets killed like at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of the video games, apparently a Nintendo employee was fired after appearing on a podcast.
Yeah.
That
Food
had
for thought.
that had 30 listeners. So Nintendo employees, we'd like to have you on our podcast, but we don't have enough listeners yet. We don't want to cost you your life, or your livelihood rather. But yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Like, why would they even care? I mean, I don't know if maybe it was just like what he talked about.
Yeah, apparently there were some things that he talked about behind the scenes, and there was like some sites that ran with it, and they go, "Oh, look, this is happening or that's happening," and then Nintendo wasn't happy with it, and they fired him.
I don't think Nintendo's happy with anything.
Yeah, not really.
You know, they just seem like they don't have fun gaming anymore. They seem like the old guy who's like, "Oh, kids and the video games."
And juegos. Yeah, well, I mean, he was kind of speaking intimately about, like Luis said, background stuff, and he was talking about a few of the more popular producers and how it was tough. For Sakurai, I think he was talking about Sakurai, the guy that directed the Smash Bros. Games.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was talking about it like, the production was a little bit difficult because, you know, he's got a vision, and it wasn't really like bad-mouthing, but it's not exactly flattering either. It's just like, it was hard to work with him because he has a specific vision. And I was like, you know, it just seems more reminiscent of like if you've seen in the Kingdom of Dreams and what the hell? It's the Miyazaki Studio Ghibli documentary. In the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. And it's like you can see how strict he is and how stringent he is on the kind of things he wants portrayed in his movies, and they're working on the Wind Rises movie, and like even, you know, he's drawn planes before, but like a proper plane for this like it's more or less based on historical accuracy about those Zero fighters that came out just before during World War II, but it was about the guy who created those fighter planes and his love for fighting, but his thoughts on war and how he was against it. And you're like, I want to create this plane, I just don't want to use for war. But anyways, you know, it's like he was having trouble himself creating airplanes. He was like, well, I wouldn't have my staff do anything that I wouldn't be up to task. So he like sat there like trying really hard to draw this like warplane as accurate as possible. And there's other people, or some of the other staffers, like, he comes in and then he's like sitting there explaining like, I want this certain expression, and I don't want this basic happy smile. Yeah. I want to be able to see it and see that this person feels conflicted while smiling. And everyone's just kind of like, God damn it. You know, it's like you can see the frustration. And he wasn't exactly asking that, but it was something along those lines.
Right.
And they're just like, And like you kind of see some people like getting ready to just like tear up what they got.
Yeah,
you know, they're just like you can see that they're visibly like defeated.
Yeah,
because he's so like demanding with the kinds of things he wants, and that's kind of how it seemed like the guy was talking about Sakurai, where like he has this vision and you need to follow it.
Yeah,
and it's like well, maybe that was more than Nintendo wanted revealed. You know, so I can understand. I can't understand him being fired. I can understand maybe him being reprimanded, but firing outright is that's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, I think unless they have like an NDA where they can't talk about that, I think that's excessive. Because it's like, okay, I guess it's not the most flattering, but it's like that's the reason why these directors are so good, because they have their exact vision. They're not just like, well, that's good enough.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it is going to be difficult to work with somebody like that because they want something so specific, but that's why they turn out gold like every single time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I think it's firing him. Especially for, like, such a small audience of a podcast. It's, like, really, like...
Well, their audience got big just because it was like, oh, you know, there's thoughts, you know, stuff about Nintendo that's coming out that hadn't been released before, and I think that's where there was, like, Nintendo was like, oh, shit, this is something that we can't control.
Yeah.
And, like, if this, you know, I feel like it was more like we need to make an example out of this dude before this shit really gets out of hand.
I feel like that's just going to make Nintendo look worse, and it really has only drawn more attention to the issue. Yeah. Had they not fired him, like, only a handful of people, I think, probably would have known compared to, dude broke NDA. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they've only exacerbated the problem.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's Nintendo. They got those coins.
Well, the guy came out, and he's just like, he's, like, real saddened by the whole thing. It's just like, you know, I've let my kids down, I've let my wife down, you know, I might not make my house payments this month and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, damn, dude, that's fucking rough. But yeah. Most contracts stipulate if you're subject to terminate. Yeah, that's what Fuzzy's saying.
Well, yeah, but that's also assuming there was an NDA.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Which, in all likeliness, you know, I would give it to Nintendo's credit that there was an NDA involved. So
most likely, yeah.
If the guy's going to go into podcast, he would probably have to have been cleared.
Yeah,
which is something that...
Because even Miyamoto has an NDA, because he can't talk about anything that he does because they use that as inspiration for video games. So they don't want other companies to know, like, what he does, even in his free time, because, you know, they're going to turn into a video game. Let's see how we can compete against that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
So, we all know Guillermo del Toro is infamous for starting projects or announcing projects and never following through. But apparently he's also infamous now for killing companies. He says, I joined THQ and THQ goes broke. I joined Kojima and Kojima leaves Konami. I've decided, in order to not destroy anyone else's life, I've decided that I will never again get involved in video games. Otherwise, I'll join someone and his house will explode. Or something. If I join another video game, World War III will start. There you go.
You know what? If that's how he is, we should get him to join Fox's Fantastic Four.
Or EA.
Yeah,
or EA.
right.
Break up some of those IPs.
Yeah. I don't right. Like he's like the Black Ops weapons, like send in Del Toro. But yeah,
I've never been overly impressed with Guillermo del Toro. He had like one good movie, and the media overinflated him, and were like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be like this incredible thing." It's like Hellboy is not that great of a film. It's a fun franchise, but it's not fucking icing on the cake. You know.
What about Pan's Labyrinth?
That's what I'm saying. Pan's Labyrinth was that one good movie.
Yeah.
That was his breakout role. And because he was, I think he's Spanish.
Yeah, he's Mexican.
Oh, he's Mexican. Okay, I always thought he was Spaniard. But anyways, yeah, you know, he's Hispanic, and, you know, he creates this really great movie that has, which was Spanish in origin, but had crossover appeal in Pan's Labyrinth. You know, it was more or less, it was a foreign title.
Yeah.
And it had this incredible crossover appeal, which is pretty rare. I mean, before that, it was what? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? A movie that was just making millions in a U.S. box office, and it was, you know, a subtitled movie. So you don't see that a whole lot.
He also made Blade 2.
Blade, well, case in point. Yeah, but then, you know, he starts getting all these opportunities. He makes a couple of good movies, but none of them have ever really exceeded the success or even like the originality of Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And to me, it was just like, I don't know. He's not really been that incredible. And for all he's done, where you have someone like Tarantino, where it's like he puts a lot of love in all his original properties, and then you have Guillermo del Toro, who has, I think, a lot of potential and is really not seeing it. And he's just coming. He goes on to Hellboy. He does all these things. Whatever he was doing with THQ. He was stuck to The Hobbit for fucking years and never did shit. He was just like, I just don't have the time. It was like, well, why not?
Yeah, what else are you doing?
He's always putting priorities on stuff that he really wants to do. And it's just like, and he was sitting on The Hobbit for like, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah,
and then Jackson comes back and like, in 6 months, in 6 fucking months, The Hobbit's already in production.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It was like he was making excuses saying like, oh, well, we couldn't line up actors or whatever other bullshit was going on. I don't have a script. I don't have, everything. And then Jackson comes in and just like 6 months, everything's done.
Yeah.
We're starting production. Filming starts in another few weeks, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, really?
Yeah.
The movie's coming out in a year. It's just like, come on, dude. Get your shit together, Del Toro. And I think it's a Del Toro thing. It's not, it's unfortunate that THQ and then Konami did what they did.
Yeah.
You can't help those things, but the fact remains that Del Toro had his own video game company and then dissolved it of his own volition because it wasn't going anywhere. They were sitting on a fucking 2 different video games and they weren't getting made.
Oh yeah.
So whose fault is that? It's just he wasn't paying enough attention to it. He didn't want to put more money into it, whatever, so he just broke it apart and dissolved his game company that he had.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like he has too much on his plate, and he can't really focus on any one thing.
yeah, and it's more of a case where he's putting too much on his plate. It's like he could have had these games made if that's all he focused on for a year or two.
Yeah.
Or at least had somebody come in and take over, not ownership, but, the production of everything. And just like, he could just like, well, I'll just put my name on it and let these guys handle the shit. But he didn't do that. So I think in that case, it's more him. It's not like, oh, I'm a curse on video games. It's like, no, you just don't see this shit through. You don't see it through.
Well, in that case, you might be a curse on video games because they're probably like, well, we have to dissolve now. You didn't actually make your game after 3 years.
Yeah.
We're over budget and we have nothing. So, I don't know. I think him not being in video games anymore is not really going to hurt the industry since...
No.
I don't think he successfully made anything.
No, he hasn't.
So.
And there's a lot of movies that he hasn't successfully made. So it's not really like, oh, I'm a curse. It's just like, no, it can be argued that you're probably a little bit lazy. Or, you easily, you get on board in this project and get super excited, and then, a few months later it's just like, I don't really want to do this. But it's not like he just outright quits. He lets it go on and on and on, and then just doesn't cut the cord.
Yeah.
He lets some other circumstance happen in to where he doesn't have to outright be like, oh, well, see, this happened, and so I got to quit.
Yeah, it's like he kind of waits for it to be like past the point of no return before he takes his name off of it. Yeah, so I don't know. It kind of sucks. Silent Hills looked really interesting, but
and even if he dropped off of Silent Hills and like, oh, I can't dedicate the time to it, it would have been crazy, stupidly successful without him. Yeah. Because it's Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And you have Norman Reedus. And it's Kojima.
Yeah, it's like,
you already have that trifecta. You don't need Del Toro. It's like, oh, yeah. No one's... Honestly, if this game got made, no one would give a shit that Del Toro was a part of this. That's my honest... I think people would be like, oh, it's neat.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely cool, but no, I don't think anybody's going to look at Silent Hills and where his name's going to be synonymous with it. Unless you're just one of those aficionados.
Yeah,
it's going to be
I feel like if you're like a fanboy, you would. But for the most part, most people aren't going to be
Kojima would probably get most of the credit, followed by Norman Reedus.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And then Konami, if they were still going to be a part of it. And then maybe Del Toro.
Yeah.
Unless you just had some other insanely good voice actor like David Hayter attached to it as well. That's it. Or Bill Hader.
So apparently Star Wars Battlefront has cut out its single-player campaign. I didn't even know that they even were going to have one. I
didn't think they were either, but I mean...
I didn't think they were going to have ever, but I'm not going to miss it. Either way, I'm still excited for the game. One of the reasons I'm going to get it is because I'm going to be playing it like weekly with friends anyways online, so I'm fine with that.
To me, I just go to like Battlefield 3 and 4, where it's like the single player campaign was so bad.
Yeah.
Well, 3 was okay, but 4 was especially bad.
3 was decent. I mean, I remember us critiquing it as we played through it, and it was just like, this could have been a lot better.
Yeah, but 4 was especially like, it didn't even need to be there. It was so underdeveloped.
It's like, we got all these cool scenes, and they were cool, but the story was shit.
Yeah.
The story was so shit. It's just like, this is so dumb. This is so boring. Like, how can doing action explosion shit be so fucking boring?
Yeah, there's just like...
Wow.
Yeah, it was...
And it was always a tradition ever since, well, not a long-running tradition, but like even from Battlefield Bad Company 2. Granted, I played a little bit of the multiplayer just because I got into that game because of Bobby Beetle.
Yeah.
But then I went back and I played the story mode, and I focused only on the story mode until I beat the game. And I was like, oh, man, this game's so much fun. You know, Bad Company 2 was just like the pinnacle of all Battlefield games, I think.
Yeah.
I argue, you could easily argue 1942 was the pinnacle, but when you're progressing, I would say Bad Company 2 was the pinnacle. And in Battlefield 3, it was like, you know, it feels like they're going in the right direction, but it could have used some work. But, I mean, there was definitely a plot. There was definitely a beginning. There was a middle. There was an end. It lacked characterization. Again, I think first-person mode ruins it when you're trying to put a face to a character.
Yeah.
And when you put too much... when you lean too much on the player being the character, you lose a lot of elements of the story itself. You lose a lot of impact on story elements, you know, because if you want it to be high octane, you could make it high octane. You can make it like Commando for a video game and just be like, oh my god, it's an adrenaline rush. Because that's, if you want player immersion, all you have to do is make it an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
You know, to where like you're constantly bombarding them. Put a little bit of slow time to let them recover, and then just throw them back into the fray again. And I think that's where Modern Warfare 2 got it right. Because you're letting other people do stuff and argue with each other, and then you're just following them. Like, all right, well, come on, soldier, let's go do this. But you're watching other people argue.
Yeah.
You know, and doing other stuff, and then they're giving you orders. Whereas in Battlefield 3 at least, it's like, you're the leader of the outfit, but the other dudes are calling the fucking shots. And it's just like...
Yeah,
that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like you don't do anything. You have no personality. It's like, how are you supposed to be immersed in it? It's like you're the leader. It's like, all right, well, you guys tell me what to do, and I'll do it, and that'll be my order.
Yeah, exactly. What's his name? What was his name in the Wire?
Oh,
the guy with the scar on his face.
Wire. I don't remember.
I can't remember. He was that dude with the scar on his face. He was like some hood dude that was like he was like a modern day Robin Hood.
Oh,
almost.
Omar.
Omar, there you go.
Omar coming.
Yeah, he was in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, wasn't it? Right?
I think it was 4. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
it was 4. It was Battlefield 4.
Together.
Where it's like, you know, it's like your squad leader dies at the beginning of the game, and you're the new squad leader after you guys get back to the battleship and get your new assignments. It's like, so the player is the squad leader now, but he's calling the shots for majority. Like, all right, we're going to go this way, and it's just like, lead the way. And it's just like, can I? Can I please? Am I the squad leader?
Yeah.
And then for multiplayer, it's like you can actually give commands to other people instead of using your microphone. Like, hey, let's, you know, you're trying to give commands to like, let's go do this or give waypoints. It's like you can't really do that in the single player, or at least not the way you can in the multiplayer. And it's like, well, why can't you do that and just give like commands and give voice commands for specifically for the single player, where it's like, okay, you can spot that thing and then have the player model say like, all right, we're gonna head this way, and then have Omar and the other dude be like, all right, let's go, let's head out, you know?
Yeah.
That to me adds characterization that puts the player into the game. It's like they didn't do shit like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it was rushed. The thing they just threw in a single player campaign just to have one,
right? Yeah.
Rather than trying to actually make even a halfway decent one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like that was the thing in Battlefield 3 where you're kind of more or less along for the ride, and they did a lot of that right, but it was still like too much focus on the player being the main character when there was like so much other shit going on, to where it just felt like, oh, well, the main character is just kind of like thrown into the whole fray, and somehow they became the primary, you know, protagonist. But when you definitely start out the game, you just feel like you're kind of a part of it, and at the end, you're like in the middle of it, but there's no really good reason as to why, because there's still other people like roaming around doing their own shit, and then there's like that fucking god awful sequence fight at the end. It's just like, really? Come on.
I didn't even make it that far. I just remember the chopping off the leg with the knife and one.
Oh no, this was in Battlefield 3.
Oh, okay.
In the car chase scene at the end.
Oh yeah.
And it's you're doing that knife fight, and you guys are like halfway out the window of the passenger side, and it's like the guy's trying to stab you. You have to press A to like reverse, and then he tries to punch you, and you press circle to block it.
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. And it's just like, oh, man. Why is this even in the fucking game? You can't even do shit like this in multiplayer. It's like, it was just like, just give us a damn good firefight. Just do that. You know, something like GoldenEye-esque or something like that.
Yeah.
Something cool. And then Battlefield 4 just kind of explosions and I don't know. It was a mess.
Yeah, just kind of get progressive.
And then I don't know if they even did that in Battlefield Cops and Robbers. What is it, Hardline? I haven't played that. I decided to stop, and I wasn't going to play Battlefront until I saw that dogfight where it's like all it is the map is just a dogfight.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I can get behind it, even if it's not in space, which kind of sucks because I remember they said there was not going to be any space fights. But like a dogfight in the sky with Star Destroyers in the background, like that's pretty fucking cool.
Until the expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure they'll be
down.
coming eventually.
I told Beetle to get me a copy.
Nice. But yeah, I don't know. I think they did make the right choice by not even bothering with the single player. They were just going to half-ass it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Resident Evil...
somebody said at this point, even if they tried to put one in, then the game would have to be delayed until next year.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were like pissed off, but I think the article that was from Forbes that I linked, the guy makes the case to why that's actually a good idea because they're saying that although single player usually is can make or break a franchise that's starting out, with Star Wars, people argued like, well, I mean, this is like one of the most story-rich properties that's actually getting the multiplayer, treatment or like the first-person multiplayer FPS treatment. And it's not getting a single player. It's like, well, why not? And it's just like, well, this game's going to do good without it simply because it's one of the more story-rich franchises in existence.
Yeah.
It's fucking Star Wars. It's going to sell no matter what. And you're making this like Battlefield, but you get to be a stormtrooper. Who doesn't love a fucking stormtrooper? Like, oh, dude, I can shoot fucking blasters and hit nothing as a stormtrooper? That's awesome. I would love to live up to that hype. I get to be Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker in a game? Fucking hell yeah, let's do this. I get to pilot a TIE fighter? It's because of that story richness that this game is going to sell.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a story mode, whereas other games that the article cites where it's talking about what's that game with the mechs that was created by Respawn for EA?
Oh, Titanfall.
Where that game had no single player, but it had like story elements during the multiplayer for waypoints. But it's like, how can you focus on that shit when another Titan is like shooting down on you?
Yeah.
It's like you can't even focus to do those things unless you just happen to hit that that sweet spot where there's like downtime, there's not a whole lot of characters, and no one's attacking you, and you can actually focus on this loosely based story that they created for you. It's like, but there was no proper campaign.
Yeah.
And that would actually hurt. That actually ended up hurting Titanfall because there was nothing for people to like care as to why the Titans exist. Like, well, what's the reason for their existence? What's the reason for this world? Because what's the point of it? This whole game, what sets it aside from other franchises? People loved Call of Duty because of the stories, and then they just get to go and play the game after that.
Yeah,
but there's a story behind the characters and the soldiers that you're using. It's even like Battlefield 1942. There's no story. It's just multiplayer.
But they got airplanes.
But it's based off of World War II.
Yeah.
Everyone was taught that shit in school. Everybody knows what's going on. Like, oh, I'm picking the Axis or I'm picking the Allied.
Saving Private Ryan.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. You already know the story behind all that. Where you have other games, like, you need something, like, why do I have these kinds of technologies, And that's why games like Team Fortress 2 were so successful. They didn't have a story, but they had those trailers that let you get to know each character. It's like, okay, there's some characterization to these guys. I'm not just picking the heavy to pick the heavy. I'm picking this cool Russian brute that has a soft side, and he's pretty funny. And I want to be that dude.
Yeah.
When you add things like that, then that makes the game easier to play. it's easier to digest, and it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's why that's why it made sense not to have a story mode. Not only that, but I mean, yeah, like I think Ice was saying earlier, it would delay the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure that's the main reason why they pulled it. But it's like, yeah, it makes sense. And it's like, if they're not going to put any character into their characters anyway, then it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, and there's already character in the character. You're going to be Luke Skywalker. Everybody
Yeah.
knows Luke. Anybody that knows Star Wars knows Luke Skywalker's story.
Mm.
So when you get to be Luke Skywalker in the game, and you're going to fight a character that's playing as Darth Vader, you're going to be like, all right, Papa,
Yeah.
time to go down, Time to get my hand chopped off.
Yeah.
And they want this game to come out before the movie comes out, which
Oh,
is what,
yeah,
Christmas?
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yep. Yeah.
Fuzzy, giving those trailers too
we'll be
much
getting a
credit.
patch fix by the time the movie comes out.
Yeah. So, we'll make this the last topic. I'm going to save the other topics for next week.
Okay.
Because I got to wake up early tomorrow. But anyway, so apparently Resident Evil 2 is getting a remake. So people are actually pretty excited for this. I mean, obviously, Resident Evil 2 came out on the original PlayStation back in 1998. So I guess not really a remake, but a remastered version. Much like the much anticipated and long-awaited Final Fantasy VII. So it'd be cool. I don't know if they're actually going to just make it look better, or if they're going to actually change the control scheme. Because I was actually talking to somebody at work about this. I was like, yeah, Resident Evil 2, it's like, it was really scary because you had to do like a full 360 just to change direction and run in the other direction. And it's like the controls got better as the games progressed, but it's like, I wonder if they're still going to have that old design with new graphics, or if they're going to change it up and make it more like Resident Evil like 4 and 5, where it's like more action-oriented. So, I don't know, I think it'll be a huge difference depending on how they address the control mechanics. But
So, I actually have an update to that, because I did read an update earlier in the day about this, and I just found the article for it. It's actually not going to happen. Or at least not the way we think it will.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was like not a Kickstarter, but it was what do you call it? A fan-made. The fan-made trailer that this is based off of. So it was going to be like third-party made pretty much. And Capcom came out with the cease and desist. And according to the article, they were actually happy to do so.
Mm-hmm.
It said, contrary to what might be thought, this is wonderful news for us, and as fans, we're so happy that Capcom has decided to take the lead of the project and to develop the remake awaited for years by everybody. Nobody could bring back to life the masterpiece of 1998 better than the creators themselves. So,
Man, I honestly prefer a new a new Mega Man game versus a remake.
I think they
I'm sure
might be
they'll
working on a
try.
new Mega Man game, or maybe it's just a rehash of old Mega Man games.
I'm still pissed they canceled Mega Man Legends 3.
I would be much more interested, because I've never been a big fan of Resident Evil, and honestly, I'm kind of sick of remakes and this whole capitalizing on nostalgia. It's just like, we get it, man. They're nostalgic for a reason.
Yeah.
It's cool if you want to make a new addition to the property, Resident Evil 7 or whatever, or Street Fighter 8, whatever. But I would really like to see, Capcom was on this stride of making new IPs, and their only mistake in those games was that they were giving them off to third parties.
Yeah.
Instead of making them all in-house. Because all these Capcom games are great simply because they were made in-house.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, the new Devil May Cry was Ninja Theory, and as much as I love CyberConnect 2, there was a lot that they could have done better for Ashura's Wrath, especially with the story. But the gameplay, for being such a hyper-violent game, was just so basic you couldn't even feel the wrath.
Yeah,
Ashura.
yeah. The gameplay was terrible.
It's not like we're God of War where there's button mashing, but you really feel like this angry motherfucker out to destroy the world because you made him kill his own family without him knowing it. And it's just like, let's go on the warpath. Whereas Ashura's Wrath is kind of treading those lines similarly, and you're just not into it. It's just like, man, this is just baseless button mashing. It's so fucking boring. You're just doing the same shit over and over. And you would think somebody that loves Dynasty Warriors would be into a game like this, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. I think if Capcom was taking the reins on Ashura's Wrath, we'd be in the middle of Asura's Wrath 2 right now, and probably seeing 3 for next gen by next year.
Yeah.
If it was done right.
Yeah, well, it's like Capcom's always been good at like game mechanics, and that was like the biggest fault in Asura's Wrath.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely dropped the ball big time with that one.
Yeah. So I know they were working on like a free-to-play RPG game. I think it was like RPG game for the PS4. I don't know if it was for the Xbone either, but I know it was for next gen. I forget it was some kind of like dungeon crawler game. I can't remember what it was called, but I know that was a new IP. But I would just like to see some other kind of new IP instead of just another fucking remake of an old game that I don't care about.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens at Capcom. Will they make new games? Will they file for bankruptcy? Time will tell.
You know, I'm kind of interested to think that they're just going to get outright owned by PlayStation, like Naughty Dog style.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
And I wouldn't be exactly against that.
Hey,
I know a lot of people are mad just simply because Street Fighter's only going to be for Xbone. And people are like, oh, well, we were all playing Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012, blah, 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 edition on the 360 because frame rates. I was like, well, this is next gen. This isn't the fucking 360.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, specs and frame rates are much better on PS4 than they are on the Xbone. So when you have Capcom and keeping in mind that they're only making it for one title, they can dedicate all their resources to that one system. Obviously, they have PC as well, but they can dedicate all their resources to that one system to make the best game possible.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it'll eventually be ported to Xbox anyway. I mean...
Well, maybe, but I mean, since the fact that Sony's supporting the game solely...
Oh, I see.
I really don't... It's like, it's the same thing where Bayonetta 2 was being supported by Nintendo.
Yeah, with Nintendo. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so obviously you're not going to see Bayonetta 2 on any other console, at least not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Unless it's PC, but I mean, that's the same thing for Street Fighter.
Until the Anniversary Collection.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, shout out once again to Desi from Nerd Against the World for joining us. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Courtney, who's not here anymore. Fuzzy Slippers, Melanie, and Jimmy Vargas, too. And anyone else who we might have missed who popped in here. Anyway, thank you all for listening. This is Prometheus.
This is Amuro.
This is Ice.
This has been Straight
Outta
Austin.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Check us out again next time. We should be on at our regular time at 9 p.m. Central on Mixler.com/PTWOR. Of course, check out the Comic Bubble. I guess it won't be on this Friday. But
Right. We'll back to the regular schedule next week.
Yeah, back to the regular schedule at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern on Mixler.com/the-comic-bubble. And as always, good fight, good night.
Whatever.
Peace.
This has been another great presentation by the 4-Eyed Radio Network. You can find more information at 4eyedradio.com.